After capturing the Battle for Atlantis title last week, the men's basketball team hosts number 4 Duke on Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. at the Kohl Center as part of the Big Ten ACC Challenge on ESPN. The Badgers then travel down I-94 to Milwaukee to take on Marquette on Saturday at 11:30 a.m. on CBS. Head coach Bo Ryan is here and will take questions.
These lights remind me of Atlantis. You were down there, right? That lighting was different. That was my opening statement. Have you always had those two like that?
I believe so.
I don't come over here very often,
Yeah, it's
so.
different. The Kohl Center without water. Eric?
How do you like all this excitement? A big game like Duke coming to town.
Well, I get excited for practice. Yeah, it's good. It's nice that the two leagues got together when they did the assignments and said they thought Duke at Wisconsin would be a pretty good game. So both our teams will try not to disappoint. But you know, we play in a lot of these types of games, and you know, it's good to have one at home. So we're excited, and I'm sure Duke is too.
Jesse?
Bo Douillet had some great stretches in that tournament in the Bahamas. I know he expected a lot out of himself coming into his senior season, but does he look as confident as he's ever been to you?
Yeah, you know, he doesn't look in any way. He looks the same all the time. So, I mean, his facial expressions, are you referring to body, how he's playing? He's playing with a lot of confidence because he feels he can contribute, and he is contributing. So each time he does something positive, he can't wait to do something to add to that. And he doesn't get down if things do not go well. You know, he's another one of those guys in the long list of basketball players who commits a foul and looks like he's never committed a foul in his life. Have you ever noticed how many players do that now? More than before. Has Josh Gosser ever fouled anyone? Nigel even had that look against Oklahoma on one. Me? I don't know where they get it from, because I don't change expressions.
Tom?
I once saw Kevin McHale take an intentional foul and complain about it. So
Because it was called a flagrant, or
no, just because it was called. This is a little off topic, but I know you've traveled the same path, and he's from Whitewater. But you see Lance Leipold go from D3 to D1 and get a job today. How does that make you feel, and what does it say about chances for success when you're so successful at whatever level you've coached at?
Well, I think probably 90% of the Division III coaches that have been in the finals for coaching jobs in the last 20 years have called me and talked to me about that very subject. And, you know, if you believe in what you're doing, no matter where it is, and you get the opportunity, it's just a matter of that person having the guts on the other end to make the call. Is it always the right choice? Has every Division III or Division II coach that's going on to Division I been successful? No. But has every assistant in a big-time program that's been winning consistently, that's gotten the job, has that person been successful all the time? No. So there isn't a surefire. But one thing about, you know, to me, the best two hires are someone who has been in a system for a long time, knows and understands what the head coach has been doing, and or also somebody that has been successful at another level. So for him to, a lot of people are going, well, what took so long? He can coach. He gets, you know, he gets good players. He gets guys to run that system. Because it's hard winning in Division. It's hard winning in Division I. It's hard winning in Division III consistently.
Jeff?
Bo, if a player picks up a couple early fouls and you choose to just have him cool it on the bench, like I know Frank had to sit for most of the first half the other day.
Oh, as Andy Katz said, how do you think he's going to react? You know he's been sitting for almost an hour? No, Andy, I didn't realize that, but I'm glad you pointed it out.
Along those lines, do you feel it's easy or not a big deal for someone to come out after an extended stretch like that and just perform at the level you expect?
Well, what you didn't get a chance to see was a coach's frustration. If things weren't going well, then would I have put him in if the other guys weren't answering the challenge? We were each dealing the other guys a jab here, a jab there, a jab there. We didn't get down 7, we didn't get down 10. Then I think you owe it to your players in that, okay, if you're going to go down, you got to go down fighting. But I figured Frank for 20 minutes, or probably 17 or 18 of the second half, that he's on the floor, he can do a lot of good things for us. Fortunately, it worked out that way. But, we haven't all made the right decisions as coaches. But in that case, the way we were playing, the fact that they weren't huge, they weren't really big and killing us on the glass, or you just got to give credit to his teammates who really kept it close.
I guess my question was for the player when he comes back, you don't think it should be that big of an adjustment just because he's sat on the butt for an hour?
No, not at that age. You warm up, you get ready. I think that delay, that review against Arizona was longer than how long Frank sat. It seemed like it.
Jay.
When you played at Wilkes, how did you respond to when you got a foul called on you?
I don't think I ever fouled. I'd have to ask Coach Rainey. I was known to have very quick hands, and it's not like, oh, wow, isn't he something? No, I mean, that's what Rainey, I played for the same guy, high school and college, and he always expected me to get a few steals a game, and always had me on the best player. And I think I was kind of annoying as a defensive player. Can you imagine that? Coach Rainey, when he would see Mike Kelly play, say, that's how you were. I said, yeah, I got away with a lot of fouls, didn't I? He says, yeah, so's that Kelly guy. No, you can't try to show the officials up as a player. The officials always know that coaches are going to do their thing on the sideline, but players need to stay grounded. And if there's a little sign, that's one thing, but not to keep after it. So it was so long ago, and they don't have any film. I can't. The flood of '72 wiped out all the records from the '60s at Wilkes.
Did you have to raise your hand, right? When you called for foul, you had to raise your hand?
Oh yeah.
Otherwise, it's technical?
Oh yeah. You're old. How many here are old enough to remember that? All the ones that raised their hands. Yeah.
So you never got
And if you didn't, it was the stare down. You remember that? Yeah.
So you never got a technical for not raising your hand?
No. I never got a technical foul as a player. And only a couple as a coach.
John.
How helpful was the timing of the trip you just took, battling it out with some strong teams right before this game that you're about to play?
What's the question again?
In terms of the trip that you just made, you just had a couple, battles with some very good teams right before you're about to play Duke. How helpful is that in terms of confidence and knowing what your team can provide?
Some battles in the battle for Atlantis. They were some battles. Georgetown played defensively really hard, very aggressive. Oklahoma did the same. UAB was very inexperienced. That was the biggest difference in that game. But, yeah, those tournaments, usually there's always teams in there that are very good. And we happened to hold up our end and got to the championship against a team that definitely earned it. I think they're ranked now, aren't they, Oklahoma? I'm glad we played those teams. So does it help us for the next? You never know till you go to the next game. They certainly didn't hurt us.
Jim.
But when you watch Okafor play, what stands out?
size, hands. I mean, yeah, did you see him grab that one ball against Stanford or somebody? And it was, I thought it was Connie Hawkins out there. For the young people here, he had really big hands. And it was a guy, Connie Hawkins. I have to do that now because of my age. I have to, people walk and they go, who's this Connie Hawkins guy you were talking about? Yeah, size and his maneuverability. You know, I haven't seen him dance, but I bet he can dance. He's got good feet. That baseline move that he has, he's pretty good that way. I mean, you can put names on guys, McDonald's All-American Player of the Year, Freshman of the Year, whatever, but he backs it up. Just like the guy before him.
Eric.
Frank actually released a dance video. You think he's a better dancer than Frank?
I don't know, you're talking about the one Frank did on the court?
Yeah.
Where he had that shake it off thing or whatever? Shake down, shake it off?
There were some strong moves, right?
Sure, and he was only, that was it, those were his JV moves. You should see his varsity moves. He's got more.
A lot's going to be made of the coaching matchup between you and Coach K. How do you feel about that type of chatter?
Well, I'm not. He's done more for college basketball than for basketball. Period. Out there, he's is not just because of the national championships or anything else, but all the time that he has spent with USA Basketball and developing the youth, the USA Basketball youth all the way up. He's. I don't think it'll be much about a matchup between us. I'm pretty sure they're going to be talking about their players against our players, and that's where it'll be settled out there on the court. But I don't even think in those terms, other than that I know that Coach Krzyzewski has done so many good things that it's nice to be able to be in a game where you are on the opposite side.
Anything else for Coach? All right. Thanks, Coach.